several people have wanted to know how LaBreeska feels about this message. Well, let me tell you. When I was a little girl, and I told you last night, those that were here, and my parents were divorced, and when I went to stay with Dad, and he didn't go to church, I caught a ride with my neighbors, anybody I could, and went to Sunday school. And I loved it. I loved Sunday school, and I loved Jesus. I loved the teachings of Jesus and the little pictures that they gave, and him holding the lamb and the little children, and I loved it. And then one day, a preacher got up and he said, Jesus is God. And I'm thinking, that don't sound right. And I thought, well, I just pushed it aside. And as I grew older, I really had a wonderful salvation experience when I was 15. And I went to a church, and they had a big conference, and the preachers got up and said, Jesus is God. And I'm thinking, that don't sound right. So I went to my preacher, and I said, what is this? What are they saying? And he said, don't believe what they say. You listen to what I say. Don't pay any attention to that. Well, in my mind now I'm confused, and I love Jesus. And I fell in love with Jesus. But in my mind, there was God. I'm talking about the one that rolled back the Red Sea, okay? I'm talking about the one that when he spoke, Mount Sinai shook and smoked and all that. I'm talking about that God. And so then I was in evangelistic work with my family, the Happy Goodmans, and we went to a church in Louisiana, and I met this little boy down there named Joel Hemphill. And I mean, I lost my heart, and I lost my mind. Wasn't long till he asked the right question, and I said yes. But there was a real difference there. I loved everything. I loved the setting. I loved the church. I loved the people. His dad was a pastor. They had a big, wonderful church with a lot of wonderful people, and they just knew more about the scripture than I did. And so when Joel and I married, then we kind of got acquainted because we didn't go together but about 6 weeks. But I said, Jesus is not God. And so he was real sweet about it. He knew he had a lifetime, I guess, to convince me of what he believed. And so he didn't try to force me, but he just gave me these pieces of scripture. And he'd go to work and come back, and I'd have all my scriptures lined up. They were in the Old Testament about God. I mean, what do you think about this? Well, he had him an answer. And so right away, the Lord called him into the ministry. And so I acquiesced. And I went right along with him with all my heart, I did. But in my mind, I'm thinking, I will never know the truth. I did. I thought, well, I won't ever know the truth about God. So, in these last years, when the Lord revealed it to Joel, just before he did, I found some wonderful scriptures in the New Testament. And the one of them said that when Jesus went to Nazareth, he could do no mighty works there because of their unbelief. And I told Joel, I said, That's not God. He could do no mighty works there.
Yes.
Because of their unbelief. So, and then one day, I found the scripture and told him, I said, look here, honey. Jesus said, don't you harm these little children, because their angels do always behold the face of my Father which is in heaven. So the Lord was moving on both of us at the same time, actually. God was already opening things up to Joel, and I was seeing things, and so yes, I'm 100%. Maybe 120%. But it's wonderful. What could be more important than to know who God is? And so we're trying to let the world know who God is, and where all of your prayers are answered. Did you know? Now, every prayer that you ever had answered came from God the Father through Jesus Christ. All of these wonderful things. So anyway, that's where I am. And I just want you to know, and let me say this, you've been sweet. Joel and I have looked forward to this weekend, and because we always are excited when he gets to teach about this. He's so full, can you tell? What you don't know is he could talk about it for a week and never come out of something to say. And every now and then when he's talking one-on-one and trying to convince someone, and it goes on and on, I'll just finally have to say, now, honey, right in front of whoever he's talking to, I'll say, now this is a subject without an end. And I'm ready to go home. Love you very much. God bless you.
God bless to have a wife like LaBreeska. Give her another good hand. She's a great lady. Who we can I ever saw.